So you want to learn dubstep like Wooli, Barely Alive, Kompany, Excision? Well, you came to the right video. So you want to make dubstep just like you heard. So I'm going to walk you through a very quick how-to video. We're going to keep it under 10 minutes, and I'm going to explain to you guys very simplistically how to create this stuff. If this does help you, do me a favor, take the time to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new here. It does help me, and I appreciate it. So let's talk. So your drums, it's a simple kick clap pattern, which sounds like this. It's always going to be on the 1 and 3. I just add some reverse around the 4 bars. It just sounded good. And those are your main kicks. Now from there, you're going to have your rides and hats, which sound like this. And that's very simple. If you want to know how to make your own clap, I use a kick sample. I use the same exact kick in this example, and then I just layer claps on top, which sound like this. Creates glue compress them all together. There's your drums, 1 and 3. It's very important to have the drum pattern very simplistic, because with Brostep you're literally doing very easily understood rhythms, and it's all about the push pull in this specific style of dubstep, which I'm going to refer to as Brostep. It's all in the push pull, which we'll explain more, but just know your kick and your clap or snare. We're not using snare because this is rhythm, and we're clap. We're doing claps. It's way better. But just know that is on your push. The pulls are your 2 and 4, which is this, and this is your push. So the pull is important because I'll explain more in the bases. Next, the vocal. Take any hip hop acapella you want and put it in time, and then layer how you want and create it. This will have. And have that repeat every 4 bars. As appropriate. I changed that up here because I did a fake out, but for the most part, that's what we're gonna have it do, is just kind of go back and forth. Nothing really special there. All right, bases. This is all the stuff you guys want to know. There's 3 essential parts of Brostep that's very important. Your chug / rhythmic bases are your most important. That is the meat and potatoes. It sounds like this. That's very important. Next, your filler bases. This can be anything that's supporting your main bases and whatever fills in between. It sounds like this. Lastly, the sustains. Got to carry it. Fill out that massive, wide, high frequency. They sound like this. All right, so let's go to the most important, the chugs, and talk about that push-pull I was just referring to. Push-pull. We need the 2 and 4. So obviously the kick hits here, the snare hits here, but we need stuff to pull into it. So I'm going to let you listen to it without the throw, which I'm using a reverb throw. So this is what it sounds like without it. And now with it. You can tell it creates that pull. It's pulling you into that drum hit, which is very important for this because it helps with like the head banging and the momentum of the track. Now for your chugs, you're not doing anything crazy here. We're going to unfreeze. I don't have any crazy post-processing, so let's go into Serum. First of all, basic shapes are king for this, nothing too noisy. First, I have LFO, so the FM from B, like everyone knows. Second's going to be the shape of your levels and your pushing and pull, so wavetable, detuning, all that. So this is actually creating the bump, bump. And then this is creating a sync, and it's moving my filters and a few other things that are going to adjust the timbre of the sound, which is different than my thing. So that's how you create the, because it's different. Boom, womp. That's how you're getting the difference. And lastly, it's a 4 is just a pitch bend on this because it adds some cool attack. Without it, you would have this. And that's just a touch. As far as effects go, I'm pre-distorting it, the low ends to kind of blow it out because solids have really good high end. The EQ is carrying a lot here. Massive. And from there, combs is just adding space, chorus adding space. And a way to get away with high detuned basses is to just simply turn down your global and your width. Super simple. And you can add your space back in how you want. And another thing is, which we'll go over with the sustains, is playing with the pitch wheel here. Another thing too is have an LFO on your, or have a macro on your LFO rate so you can go faster, and that creates this cool like double time, which is like the it creates that. Not all my basses do that though. This one stays. So they're all kind of working in their own unique way, create a pattern, which you just play with. Filler basses, nothing really there, just whatever sounds good to fill and break the rhythm. Sustains are very important. Oh wait, here we go. You're gonna see it pitch bend over here, and this patch I'll show you real quick. Super simplistic, not even an LFO on it. Just FM from B, combs, adding this filter, which is doing a lot of work. So doing a lot, and then yeah, that's really it. From there, having that pitch bend that we're talking about, the 12 and 24, automate here. There's a pitch bend on this, but for the most part, like we just changed the complete sound. Just like that, super simple. And then just have different sustains. Once again, you're layering it. And I'm compressing those together. So every group is getting either soft clipped or some type of controlled by itself. You can see the chugs are getting actually distorted heavily and thrown into G clip. Then everything's getting thrown into the group compression lightly and clipped again. And then my drop ends are getting clipped again because that adds a sub. So it's okay to clip, just control it. Like you use your ears and kind of hear if it sounds too distorted or not. Your sub, very important. It needs to take up a lot of width here. It needs to have erosion or some type of high end on it. Let me show you how it looks in span. You can get my sub rack from my last video. It's pretty much this thing. And the importance here is your sub is going to follow whatever you want to be up front. If you want your chug rhythm to be up front, which how it is now, I'm following it. And the second drop I changed to literally following my sustains. If I tie in the chugs, we're following this motif. And some of the filler sounds there. That's really it for your bass group. Lastly, effects. Effects are here to support. So let me show you. Drop ambience, just some random stuff I made. I think this is like a serum stock pad. Some space, I resampled a bass, added more width and voicing. So even when my main basses aren't hitting, I'm still having support basses that are hitting on these notes. Crowd noise. That, and then just some impact. Which I make sure there's no low end in these because I have a kick and all that to go with. And it rises up. And that is pretty much all it is. One last part I want to show you is make sure your sidechain is thick enough. A lot of people I see send me this style of music don't have their sidechain thick enough. So I would recommend is always make it too wide to where you can hear the dip in your synths and pull it back to where it sounds perfectly. I personally use Shaper Box. I have about 1/16. It changes per song, but it's averagely around like a 16th note of a dip. So I would just recommend doing that and make sure you're having that obviously to your kick and snare. And boom, we are done. That is it. That's how you make Brittum, Brostep, whatever you want to call it, like Kompany, Excision, Wooli, and all them. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave it a like. Feel free to comment below, subscribe, share it with your friends. It does help me a lot, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good weekend. Peace.